We are going to update a topic that we have revisited in the past. And it's something that I think is really important because, social media changes all the time. The topic that we're going to be discussing today is we're going to be looking at how can we effectively use business pages or business profiles, business accounts on social media versus how can we effectively use personal profiles or personal accounts. Because I understand there's a lot of advice floating around out there in forums, on blogs, etc., around what should you use to talk about your business and how should you do it. Some of the advice is fabulous. Some of it's absolutely amazing, but some of it is, I'm going to be really honest, hot garbage, and it's the kind of stuff that can actually reduce your organic post reach, and I know that that's something that you don't want. So today what we're going to do is we're going to define the difference between things like personal profiles, business pages, and something new-ish called professional mode for personal profiles. We're going to go through all three of those, and then I'm going to share a really great tip at the end here that will help you up your organic reach with certain types of posts. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, stick around. Right now, we're going to play a little intro music and make sure we're going live in all the places. So I will be right back. All right, welcome to the program, everyone. The topic of the day is that we are going to discuss how to use business pages and personal profiles. I had to shorten the title because it couldn't fit all the way across the screen. And this is something that I mentioned at the top of the show. We have talked about this before, but I thought it's time to revisit this topic because a few things have changed, and we've got some updated resources for you all and some updated ideas that are going to help you really hone in on what is going to be most effective to market your music business. So we're going to be talking about all that today. If you are tuning in live, please be sure to say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're watching this on the replay, know that we love to come back and have conversations. So hop in, chime in with your insights, your takeaways, and if you have any questions, please be sure to drop those, and I'll come around and answer those later on. All right, if you're new, hi. Let me take a hot second and say, I'm glad you're here. My name is Sara Campbell. I'm a business strategist, mindset, and marketing coach for music studio owners and online ed experts just like you. And we go live here on Wednesdays at 12 noon Eastern, where we talk about those topics. Today, we're going to be digging into the world of marketing and using social media to do so. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the book of face. Although some of these things that we're going to be digging into today will also be useful for profiles like Instagram. So let's see here. We're going to jump in. Hey, I see Lauren DeGiorgi is watching over on Instagram. Lauren, lovely to see you. Oh, side note, this is so not about what we're talking about today, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Last week, Instagram released a new platform called Threads. It's something that I'm kind of playing around a little bit. Honestly, I'm not going to say it's something that I'm going to use for my business yet because I'm still experimenting. But if you are on Threads and you want to experiment along with me, you can follow me at Savvy Music Studio, and I will be sure to follow you back. So I'd love to know from those who are watching, are you using Threads yet? Let me know what you think of it. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure what I think yet. Okay, so the topic of the day is we're going to look at the comparison between business accounts / business pages and personal profiles. We're going to talk about effective ways to use both of these for talking about your business and marketing your business. We're also going to discuss an option that was rolled out very slowly starting in 2021, and it's called professional mode. And it's something that can be really useful if you are trying to build a personal brand, or if you are a really good content creator and you want to learn how to monetize. So we're going to check that out here. All right, so welcome. It was funny at the very top of the broadcast. The last thing that happened before I hit the live button is that the lovely Bjorn decided to join us today. And immediately started cleaning himself. So I love, welcome to the Savvy Music Studio broadcast, where you can hear me ramble on about business and marketing and watch my cat clean his butt. So lovely, Bjorn. So lovely. Yes, Leishan. I see Leishan's like, I'm using it. I don't really love threads. I have little control on who I see. I feel you on that. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan. And Deborah, right? Do you really want another platform to manage? That's kind of how I'm feeling as well. Although I am experimenting a little bit. We're going to see, like, how is this going to fit in? Is it going to fit in? I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. All right. So, if you are watching on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to find a link in a couple of places. You're going to find it inside of the live chat. There's a link that you can click to get the show notes today. It's also going to be in the description of this video. If you are following along and watching on the Book of Face or Instagram, if you write the word social down below, you will be you'll receive the show notes from today. I have a quick recap of everything we're going to cover. I also have a couple of links that I think will be useful to you. We have recently updated one of the pretty lengthy blog posts that we have at Savvy Music Studio, and it's going to include some more details from what we're talking about today. So let's get to it. Let's unpack the issue to start, right? The issue is this. I want you to think back to the days when Facebook was first rolled out, right? It was intended for people to connect with one another, right? It was actually intended for college kids to connect with one another. That was the first purpose of it, right? And then down the line, Facebook started noticing that businesses were using it, and they were using personal profiles to run their businesses. So they they came out with a new option called business pages. This was a long time ago. Now, I pop around a lot of music teacher forums, and there's a lot of them on Facebook. Some of them are massive. We're talking 20, 30,000 people in there. And I do see some advice around, what should you use for your business? Should you use your personal profile to talk about it? Should you use your business page to talk about it? And so what I thought I'd do today is talk about different ways we can use those profiles to talk about our businesses, and be very specific in some cautions that we want to observe, so that we make sure that we're using these profiles within terms of service, that we're not risking getting our accounts suspended, etc. And today we're also going to talk about the new professional mode that you can use on your personal profile, which is really kind of interesting. So let's get into all of that today. I'd love to know from those who are watching live or on the replay, what do you use right now most when it comes to talking about your music business? Do you use a business page on Facebook or a business account on Instagram, or are you using a personal profile or personal account? Either way is fine. Go ahead and let us know what that is down below, and we will work that into our advice today. Hey, Holly Michelle Daly is joining us on Instagram. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's get to it. So let's learn a little bit about personal profiles. So when we're talking about personal profiles / personal accounts, right, we're talking about a personal profile or account on Facebook or Instagram. That is, the place where you are going to connect with your family and friends. It's actually, in order to even use the Book of Face, you have to have a personal profile. There's no other way to engage with the platform right now. That may change in the future. We're not sure. So, it can be really nice to have a personal profile as a way to connect with family and friends, but also a way to connect with potential clients. So I wanted to walk through a couple of pieces of little tiny pieces of advice that you can take away for today about how you can effectively use a personal profile, and then also a little bit of caution around how not to use how not to use a personal profile. Okay, great. I am seeing a couple of, so let's get to that in just a second here. I see that Deborah says, I'm using business on Facebook. I also have business on Instagram, but I find Facebook friendlier for your brain. Deborah, I love that you recognize this, right? Use the platform that makes you happy. That is something that I say all the time. Like, don't use something that makes you like, bleh. That's not fun, right? Susan says she's using a business page. Lovely. Erin says, I'm using all the things. And Erin, you do it so beautifully. Y'all follow Erin and watch what he's doing. It's good stuff. Katie says that she's using both business and personal. Okay, so let's go through a couple of best practices for your personal profile, right? 1, make sure that you are using your actual name on Facebook. Right? That is part of the terms of service of using Facebook. If you are using a name for your personal profile, right? Like, and when I say personal profile, like, let me give you an example of a personal profile. This is my personal profile. Wait, it's right here. That's my personal profile. My name is Sara Campbell. That makes sense, right? It is actually against the terms of service to like have your business name as part of your personal profile. So that's one thing. We need to make sure that we have our real name here. So if you have named yourself something like Sara Campbell Music Studio, that's not a good thing. Another thing that I love about using personal profiles is it gives us the opportunity to talk about what we do, right? So you can see on my personal profile, I've linked up to the companies that I work for. I have it linked up to Savvy Music Studio, the Prepared Performer, the Speakeasy Cooperative, and things like that. And I also have the opportunity to put links, right? I have the opportunity to put links to my website, etc. That's what I love about personal profiles. This also gives me an opportunity to show people that I am, in fact, shock of shocks, a human being, right? It's the place where I can choose to connect with my family and friends. I can choose whether or not I want it to be public facing or private facing, like friends only. And that's a great thing. If I want to talk about my business there, fabulous. It gives me the chance to talk about what I really enjoy as a teacher and a coach. And it gives me a place to be casual about it. I can talk about my business there, but I don't want to be salesy and weird, right? So that's in a nutshell what I like to use personal profiles for. Let me give you a little word of caution on, ways not to use a personal profile. Here are ways to tank your organic reach on your personal profile. If you are using your personal profile as the only use that you're using it for is talking about your business and trying to sell lessons and sharing stuff from your business page or sharing stuff from your website, people are very quickly going to tune you out, right? Because that's not what a personal profile is for, right? How many times, I would love to know from those who are watching, have you ever seen people do that, right? Have you seen people who that's all they talk about on their personal page and it's like, okay, all right, I'm unfollowing this person because they feel like a salesy weirdo and it just that does not feel good to me. So that is my advice to teachers, right? Use your personal profile to connect with human beings and do so in an authentic way. Does that mean that you can't talk about your business? Nah. It just means that we need to think about how we're talking about our business. It's good marketing, right? All right, so Deborah's like, yep, I have seen that, right? We see those people and we're like, ugh, I really don't want to. Oh, yes, Christine. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you mentioned this. Yes, this is an exact example of how not to use a personal profile, right? I'm sorry. I don't want to be negative about any specific type of business, but I have seen people who run businesses like that, and that's all they talk about, and it becomes not cool, right? Okay, so so that's the thing about personal profiles, right? We'll get into a couple more little tidbits of advice around best practices there, but then let's talk about business pages, okay? So I'm going to try to talk about this in both Facebook and Instagram, but I don't want to get too confusing. What are the reasons that we would want to use a business page? Well, there's a few things, right? One, business pages, and I'm talking about Facebook, and business accounts on things like Instagram, those are public facing, right? It makes it easy for parents, current clients that you have, to tag your studio in photos or to recommend you in forums, right? Another thing I like about having those business accounts is that search engines can index the information on your page and it can actually show up in searches, right? So, that's a great benefit from, using those business public facing accounts. So if somebody were to, in my area, let's say if they were to search the terms piano lessons near me and they are within like a pretty reasonable radius, Sara's Music Studio's Facebook page is most likely going to pop up because I have a lot of content there and I have a tendency to either mention West Middlesex or Hermitage or Sharon, like areas around here. And also that page is like associated with those areas and it has a public address. So that's another great reason to use like a business account. Two more reasons. If you, on Facebook, at least, we don't have this capability on Instagram. On Facebook, you have the ability to get reviews. And, that can be a really great thing to have those public facing reviews. So you can ask your current clients to leave you a review on your page. Let me give you an example of that. Okay. So let me I'm going to show you how to ask for a review. It's so easy. So easy. Okay. You ready? Maybe. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. So, screen share. Let's take this guy down. And screen share. Okay, so, all right, if you wanted to ask for a review from your page, you can see right here I'm on Savvy Music Studio's Facebook page. And all I had to do was click on the reviews tab, and you can see that brings me over to the reviews. And it gives me the opportunity to grab that link. And I'm just going to go ahead right now and do the brave, scary thing and say, hey, for those of you who are tuning in today, if you enjoy the content that we put out at Savvy Music Studio and you have found it helpful in running your business, if you could just take 2 minutes of your day and leave a review for us on our Facebook page, oh my gosh, I would be so thankful. So, reviews. It's a lovely place to ask for reviews. And finally, one of the last things that I love about using a business account or a business page, it gives us the ability to create a nice boundary between your personal use of a platform and your business use of a platform. And I know that last year, like there was this big kerfuffle. It's a good word, isn't it? There was a big kerfuffle about, the new business pages that were rolled out on Facebook where they took, the personal profiles and the business pages and they really separated them. And at first, I'll be honest, like I really did not like that shift. But nowadays, I actually like it a lot because it allows me to become more intentional around using social media. When I don't want to be using it for business purposes, I don't log into the business page. If that's something that you need assistance with and you'd like to create like a better boundary between using social media as a human and as a business owner, reach out. We've got resources that can help you with that. Yes, Erin, I love this. So Erin says, I like it. They also made it easier to switch. Thank goodness. Yes, at first it was so clunky, but now it's very easy to switch between the two things. And personally, I really like the change. One of the things that I love is the ability to turn off notifications so that you don't get business page notifications on your personal profile. Like if I did not have that, I would never log in. Okay, so that's all of that. Now, I want to talk about one more thing today, which is something that's a little bit different. We have not talked about it here before, and I thought this is a good opportunity to lay this out. Professional mode, okay, for personal profiles. This is something that started rolling out way back in 2021. It was a very slow roll. They were only putting it out for content creators that were making lots of reels. And the professional personal profile mode, if you're already using your personal profile as one of the main areas to talk about your business, whether you are, let's say you are a performer or you're a course creator, or you are writing a lot of articles in our field, and you're pretty passionate about talking about what you are finding. If you're already doing that on your personal profile, you might want to consider turning on professional mode, and here's why. With professional mode, basically what happens is that anyone can choose to follow your personal profile. They don't become your friends, but they can follow your personal profile, and then they can see any of the public content that you decide to post. You can still decide whether or not you actually want your content to be public, and I actually do have my personal profile in professional mode, and it gives me a couple of things. Like, it gives me access to a dashboard with insights. It can tell me like how well my posts are performing, kind of similar to a business page. It also gives me the opportunity to invite people to follow me, and so it's kind of an interesting, I almost want to call it a midway point between having a personal profile and a business page. It's not 100% a replacement for it, but it is a nice option. Now, for some people who are like crazy content creators and you create like lots and lots of reels and things like that, this can be an opportunity for you to actually monetize. If your content is available for monetization, that is something that you can do there. So with professional mode, it's not a bad option. And what I've done recently is I've written a blog that covers everything about personal profiles, business pages, and professional mode for profiles. So if you would like to get a hold of that blog, it's going to talk about everything in detail. It's going to give you some ideas as to whether or not, like, what is going to be right for me. Then drop the word social down below, or if you're on YouTube, look for the link in the description here, and you can get a hold of that blog. I think I'm going to do a couple more updates in it. It's almost 100% ready, but that's where you can get a hold of that. All right. So finally today, what I'd like to talk about, I'm going to give you one more tip before we do a rapid recap. One more tip here. All right. I know that we want, shorten that little guy there. I know that you want your content to be seen no matter what platform you're using, right? You want your content to be seen. You want your content to be engaged with. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips on sharing links, okay? And, you know, I'm just going to say this now. It is currently July 2023. This advice may change in the future. We're not sure. But right now, what I typically tell my clients to do in terms of sharing links, and what I do in my best practices, is let's look at two platforms, right? When it comes to Instagram, don't ever put your link in the description. There's no point in doing that because they're not clickable, right? So instead of putting a link in the description, you're going to tell people, if you want them to take action, right? You have a call to action in that. You're going to tell them to do one of two things. You're going to tell them either to message you privately, or you're going to tell them to look for the link in bio, and you're going to add that important link into the bio on Instagram, because links on Instagram are not clickable inside of a post description. The only place that you can put a link that's going to be clickable is going to be in your bio. That's one. Okay, so that's for Facebook, or that's for Instagram. Now let's look at links on Facebook. Okay, so let's say that you want to create a post that is talking about a new course that you've created, or it's talking about, you know, another example would be like get to know our teachers, and you want to send somebody to a page that is about the course, to a page that is about your teachers. One of the things that is going to tank your organic reach is if you are posting, this typically is the same for both personal profiles and business pages. If you are making a post and you're putting the link in the post, in the description of the post, right? Your post is probably not going to perform really well. And here's why. The Book of Face does not want you to send people off platform. They want people to spend the most time here, right? So there's a couple of things that you can do. One, you can craft content that allows you to talk about that thing, to talk about that course, to talk about your teachers, and that doesn't include a link, right? You can actually give them that information here natively on the platform. So if you want to like celebrate the new piano teacher that you just brought on, you're going to tell them all about this amazing piano teacher. And then your call to action can be something like, if you would like to work with Andrea, send us a message today. Or if you are excited to take piano lessons with Andrea, let us know down below and we will reach out to you. Something like that. right? Similar, like if you were trying to get somebody to find out more information about a course, give them the information about that course inside of the post and then tell them, if you would like to join us, let us know. We will reach out and give you more information. Those types of posts will be better received by the platform than posts where you are dropping a link, whether you are dropping it to your website, whether you're sharing a link from YouTube or anything like that. Those posts will perform better. And if you're not sure, if you're like, Sara, is that really true? Test it out. Test it out and see what happens. Test it out for a week and see if your engagement improves. If it doesn't, I want you to reach out to me privately. Like, send me a message and say, like, Sara, I tested this out and it's not working well. And I'm going to take a look at your content and see what's going on, right? Okay, so that is it. Before we get to our wrap up here, I'm going to just mention, if anyone wants more help with their social media, whoops, that's not the right thing. If you head over to savvymusicstudio.com/socials, you can learn all about our social media course. Or if you just want me to reach out and give you information about it, just comment down below and let me know, and we can have a little conversation about whether or not that course will be right for you. Let's do our rapid recap today. Here we go. Drum roll, please, because this is always so much fun. Here we go. There are so many options out there in terms of running your business. There are personal profiles. There are business pages. There's professional mode for personal profiles. What should you do with all of it? Here's a really quick recap around why these different things are useful. So your personal profile on Facebook, this is a place to connect with family and friends. It's an opportunity to link up things from your business page, including like links to your website, links to your Facebook business page in your intro and profile. It's where you can talk about what you do in a casual and fun way and tell people that you are an amazing human being. When it comes to being a business page, right? Using a business page, that is going to give you a public facing platform, which is going to make it easy for parents to tag your studio, to tag you in photos that they might upload, or to tag you in questions on forums. It is also going to give the page an ability to be searchable. So search engines can find information about your Facebook business page, and you have the possibility to show up in those searches for piano lessons near me, etc. Pages also give you the opportunity to gather reviews, which is a great way to build social proof for your studio. And my favorite part is that it creates a nice boundary between how you use social media personally and how you use it as a business. The final bit here is this new thing, kind of new thing, called professional personal profiles. This is an option if you're already using your personal profile as one of the main areas to talk about your business. You may want to consider getting into the professional mode. Professional mode unlocks a bunch of different options for you, including insights and the ability for people to follow you. So it's a great opportunity if you want to build a personal brand and really connect with a wider global audience. And if you want to learn more about that, just look up professional personal profile on Facebook, and you'll find some really interesting things about it. Also, I have created a blog that goes through all three of these things and gives you very specific information around what types of posts will perform well, because you can use your personal profile and your business page to talk about your business if we're savvy about it. So if you'd like to learn more about that, if you drop the word social down below, we will reach out to you and send you information about that blog. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I really appreciate you, and we will see you next week. In the meantime, stay savvy and stay you, because you are an amazing teacher, and there is no one in the world quite like you. And we will see you next time. Let me click the button. There we go.